So, believe it or not, this is a game about protecting the environment. Hello folks, Gappy here. We've been hunting about in the Forbidden Lands for a little bit over a year now. As I'm making this video, Monster Hunter Wilds is in its full complete base state. It's not getting any more updates. I wasn't really sure if I was going to make an actual video sharing my thoughts on the game, since we can't have a fully fledged opinion until the DLC is out. But as you guys know, I'm a very opinionated individual. Plus, maybe if I speak loud enough, we'll get some cool changes when the DLC drops, so here's to hoping, right? A little bit of copium never hurts nobody. Opening statement, because I haven't done one of these in a long while. So before we start yapping about the video game, I have to make my general opinion very clear so that, you know, I might end up being a bit negative about the game. So I have to let you guys know that when it comes to Monster Hunter Wilds, my general opinion is... me like it. I generally like to keep things positive on the channel, so I mostly like to speak about things that I actively enjoy, with very few exceptions. It helps a lot that I have somewhat of a autistic hyperfixation on Monster Hunter as a series, and I just kind of feel like talking about it all the time, which is not very helpful at dates if you think about it, but hey, we get by. And as much as I have some gripes with Monster Hunter Wilds, I still love this game to bits, and now more than ever, I feel the need to talk about those gripes so that maybe in the future they are not going to be in the game anymore. And just so we're clear, none of these gripes have anything to do with performance on PC, like I have complained on this channel many times before. Because, as it stands out, the devs are definitely working on it. Last time we played Monster Hunter Wilds, we didn't have any hiccups when it came to actually playing the game. I can run the game with little to no issue. I understand that my computer is slightly beefier than the average, but still, I believe most of the issues will be gone when the DLC releases, so I'm probably not going to be talking about it today. Monster Hunter Wilds is the most recent mainline game from the series, and the biggest difference it has from other titles is the weight it places on its narrative plot. Monster Hunter has never been a series known for the story, but rather the gameplay loop. The world usually presents itself through ecology and environmental storytelling. Wilds, on the other hand, places a lot of emphasis on the story and characters. Is it good though? Yeah. It's pretty decent, I do have to say. Definitely didn't expect a Monster Hunter game to have a decent story mode, but here we are. And I honestly think that the direction the story takes sometimes is really great and really interesting. It has some rough edges here and there, but we'll get to that in a second. The premise of the story is that your hunter is sent to investigate the remnants of an ancient high-tech Wyverian civilization located at the Forbidden Lands, observing the impacts of its remnants have left on nature to this day. It's a great way to display the whole man versus nature plot, and still introduces some interesting new concepts like the guardian monsters, which are completely artificial. From there you go around with your companions to explore a bunch of different places and interact with a bunch of different villages of people that manage to not only survive on top of a dead civilization, but also thrive in it. It's a great way to showcase how nature persists even after years of human interaction, and a testament to how it can adapt despite everything we throw at it. I am quite skimming over it very harshly because at the end of the day, the objective of this video is to make you guys play the game, and I still think it's best if you guys experience the whole thing by yourselves when it comes to the story. I do have to go into spoiler territory because I have to talk about the things that I absolutely love in this game, and I feel like the story is one of them despite its many flaws, so be warned. I'm gonna put a timestamp here so you can jump into the gameplay part if you guys want to avoid big spoilers, so feel free to do that. There has been this concept floating around since the first games of Monster Hunter called the Equal Dragon Weapon, which is a man-made monster meant to rival the power of Elder Dragons. And as much as this concept is incredibly fascinating, I'm pretty sure the devs realize how dark it is to have an Elder Dragon made of other Elder Dragon parts, especially considering the tone they were going for with the game. That's pretty dark. So, yeah, understandably it didn't go into the full release of the game. And that's maybe one of the reasons why I like Wilds a lot when it comes to the story, because not only did the devs had the courage to go out talking about this thing, they actually made it the final boss. Xochitl, the final boss of the game, is a remnant weapon made by the ancient Wyverian civilization to protect themselves against the threat of Fatalis during the Great Dragon Wars. It just stood around after all these years dormant, absorbing the energy of the land. And it's your job to put a stop to it. Otherwise, all the people you've met, all the creatures you fought up until this point, and all the ecosystems present in the Forbidden Lands are just gonna cease to exist very slowly. In order to make this concept more Monster Hunter friendly, the devs decided to use the current resource called Wyvern Milk to make this, instead of Elder Dragon parts. And I do have to say that this monster slaps! The beginning of the fight, you are facing a guardian monster capable of regenerating his parts after you break them. And it's just visually very entertaining to watch this monster just break apart and then reconstruct himself every time. And then after phase 2, you can start to realize that he is getting corrupted as he fights. And upon the end of phase 3, he's already turned into this weird black sludge just trying to resemble an elder dragon that has quite a few familiar proportions. Now I just have to say though, this is the thing that I have appreciated since I first played Monster Hunter, where they do little neat details to these big cinematic fights. But the thing I liked the most about Iceborne was when you're fighting Sharashvalda, you see his eyes always focused on the camera. And for this guy, it's really interesting how in the second phase his eyes change a little bit. If you get it too close, you can kind of see the brother. That's the evil eye, brother. Why do you have the evil eye? Why are you turning into Fatalis? Is Fatalis in the game? Fan stuff. Although I can't say that I do enjoy every single thing the story provides, because there's stuff in there that really feels, unnecessary. Meet Nata, the liaison between the guild and the people of the Forbidden Lands. I really don't care about Nata. Nata acts as a big driving force for the story, with the player trying to take him back to his village after it was destroyed by Arkfell, the game's flagship monster, who is going on a rampage for reasons that become clear later in the story. Nata goes around learning about the different cultures inside the Forbidden Lands and evolving as a person, coming to realize how narrow his world perception was. That's very nice. After a while, we finally run into the Arkfell, discovering that it's actually an artificial guardian monster that gains sentience and is going on a murder spree to gain energy in order to become a real living being and repopulate its numbers. Upon seeing the creature standing on top of a pile of deceased guardian monsters, covered in blood, Nata concocts in his brain the most intelligent string of words a human being has ever said in their life.
If anyone should be angry, it's me. And I hate that it happened. This is the first thing it ever got to decide for itself. To be free, to live strong. Please, don't do this. I'm begging you.
Shut the f up.
Help me! No baile nós é mídia, no baile os menor marola.
Brother, the name of the game is called Monster Hunter. What the hell did you think I was gonna do? From a narrative standpoint, I understand Nata drawing a parallel between him and the Arkfell. However, looking at the blood-soaked violence machine and saying, don't do anything about it, feels really dumb. But that might be just a me thing. I don't know. I'm not a savant when it comes to narrative creation. Maybe it secretly makes sense. Maybe in some other universe, Nata looks at Arkfell and sees a picture of Ryan Gosling or something. I don't know. But, as I said before, I don't necessarily play Monster Hunter for the story. So, let's go on and talk about the things that actually comprise about 75% of this experience, which is the gameplay. You know, I might sound a bit contradictory, but please hear me out on this one. When it comes to combat, Wilds is by far the most refined and polished experience in the entire series. Everything just flows nicely, with attacks seamlessly connecting with each other. Every weapon has insane tools to deal with any situation. Weaknesses that were present in previous iterations of these weapons no longer become a problem just because of how much stuff you can do during combat just to offset these weaknesses. Speaking of offsets, you also have offset attacks, perfect guards, and perfect dodges that allow for some very easy to do hype moments in fights. And dealing with insta-kill attacks has never been easier. And after all this glazing, you might assume that I am such a big fan of how this game works, right? I'm not. Monster Hunter Wilds is actually the second game of the series that I've ever played in my entire life, with Monster Hunter World being my very first title. I am what people would call by definition a tourist, because until last year, right around the half of it, I had never experienced old-gen Monster Hunter gameplay at all. But after I finished Wilds, I've decided to actively change that, because this is a series I'm quite passionate about, like I said in the beginning of the game. So I cannot call myself a proper Monster Hunter fan if I don't engage with the series in all of its regards. Not saying that everybody should do this, by the way, I'm just holding myself to higher standards, if you can understand that, in a way. So, after we finished Wilds, I started doing Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, which is one of the games I wanted to dive into for a long time just because I really love the style of the game. I love how everything looks in that. It just encapsulates the essence of Monster Hunter better for me. And after that we did Rise, and after that we did Generations Ultimate. And I'm planning of doing a playthrough of Monster Hunter 3 at some point in the future. I don't know when, I don't know how, but we'll try. Get it? I think you get it. 4 Ultimate was the one that stuck the most for me. It was such a rude awakening from what I was used to, because New Gen Monster Hunter tends to be quite a bit easier than the ones in Old Gen. I'm not going to say that it's an easy experience all the way around, because it really isn't, but there is a gigantic difference between those titles. The combat in 4U was slow, methodic, and a tad bit painful at times. I couldn't just zoom around carelessly, just focused on hitting the monster and nothing else. Any mistake was punished harshly, and that doesn't apply only to combat. Support items were also hard to come by. A big part of my early game experience was focused on gathering items to craft healing potions and other items that would end up making the fights infinitely more manageable. Every single hunt felt like climbing a mountain, especially when high rank started. My gut reaction the first time I played this, and I just carted the hell out of my life, was to shit on the game. Like, oh yeah, the game is too hard, this is too unfair, I can't do anything, I shouldn't be playing this, that kind of stuff. And I was gonna leave it at a one-off stream thing, and then go back to doing whatever the hell I was doing at the time. But I couldn't. Brother! Psychopath of a dragon. He's gonna... Daddy needs the red, yeah! I'll never say that again, my bad. Can you get out of the tornado, man? Can you, like... not? Thank you. Oh yeah, I just need the red, I don't need the white. I thought I actively needed the white to make it work, but no. Aww. Oh, he fell off. He fell off, the little guy. Look at him. Look at him. He fell off, the little guy. Look at this guy. What do you think he is? What does he think he is, huh? Look at him. Just going around the place like he think he's funny. Like, I just don't think I have a good opportunity to... Oh my god, bro. I don't have a good opportunity to hit him with the spirit combo. I just don't. No, he's out of rage. Oh shit. The fact that he jumps, he stands up, like, he redirects when he stands up, then he redirects again after standing up is insane. And again, this is straight up a cheating game sometimes, that's just Monster Hunter. Yo! I broke the horn! What the f***? That's huge, actually. Monkey tired? Monkey tired? Monkey dying! Whoa. Yo! Dude! A Rajan kill with no fucking cards whatsoever, I think. Was that no cards? That was no cards! Hold on. Yeah, no cards! Oh my god! 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 Today is a good day! I don't know if that encapsulates the whole feeling I'm trying to convey here, but every single little thing that happened for you felt meaningful. Every victory was incredible due to the fact that everything was so much harder. The basic things that I'm so used to them being just regular stuff became a lot of work, and it takes a lot of effort to get anything in that game, and it just makes the victories so much sweeter. Like every carve is a phenomenal reward now that it took like this much effort to get literally the basic stuff, and it's weird to explain something like this, because to someone who's outside of this, me included, when I was outside of this thing, I saw this thing, I was like, why would you do that? Why would you put yourself in this meat grinder of a video game for no reason whatsoever when you can play just the newer games, which are way easier? But now that I've been through that blender, I can definitely understand why. If that makes any sense. And everything, every armor piece, every weapon that you make in this game just feels earned. Completely earned. I've never felt this way about Wilds. Not even once. Fights didn't feel like a hunt like they did in Old Gem. They felt like steps. You know, I have to kill Gravios to actually get to fight Arkveld. I have to hunt X number of flying wyverns if I want to get to the Zoshia quest. There's no preparation required. Everything is very much given to you. And coherent builds are definitely optional in Wilds, I think. If you just get attack up and defense up, I think you're just set for life. At least during the story, you do have to get a bit creative later on. We'll get into that in a second. But I don't feel like you have to go through any difficulties just to play the main story of Wilds. Like, during any given fights, there are so many options to cover the natural weaknesses that weapons should have. Let's be real here. Because one of the things about Monster Hunter, at least for me, is the clunkiness kind of makes everything meaningful. Like, you play a greatsword, for example, you're gonna have to do that long-ass wind-up to hit the monster, and then like 5 minutes later you finally hit the thing. It takes a lot of work. A lot of work. You know, talking about that, Wilds has a phenomenal mechanic that I dislike a lot called Focus Mode. Focus Mode allows you to redirect your attacks while doing that, which is crazy for greatsword players. Because you're literally 5 minutes standing there just charging the attack. You don't even need to see where the monster is going. You can just rotate with Focus Mode and then you just hit the monster every time. We used to joke a lot that a big part of greatsword gameplay is missing 90% of the shots you do take. And that's not real anymore. We don't have that meme. I'm quite sad about it. Ultimately, I understand that Focus Mode is a tool that makes the game more accessible. The difficulties that were there since the start are technically gone. Combat just got so much easier due to the fact that you can not worry too much about positioning yourself or even learning monster patterns to punish them proper. You can literally just rotate while doing the attacks. To people outside, again, it sounds like I am making a big fuss over nothing, but clunkiness just really makes the experience of a Monster Hunter game. And I genuinely feel like Focus Mode actively takes the value off the experience. Think of like an old gen, I don't know if you guys know these, there was like, I used to watch a lot of videos of old Monster Hunter. Even a friend of the stream's Knob has shown me a few of like this old like Monster Hunter 1 player fighting a Kirin or something. I don't know if it's Monster Hunter 1 or Monster Hunter 2. He looks at the Kirin coming towards him. He winds up the blade to hit him. But he doesn't look at the Kirin. He looks back. He looks to, like, the Kirin is over there. He's looking over there. And then he just starts charging that for a long time. And then the Kirin ends up doing his little jumpy things and he stops right at the point of where the guy was aiming for. And it's just BAM! That shit's epic. And that shit's never gonna happen again. Because of focus mode. It's one of those things where I say focus mode is fantastic for new players. I cannot say that it isn't. It's a tool that makes the hype moments and aura type things more common. Everybody can do it. Everybody saw that Monster Hunter World video of a Tigrex jumping into a guy and he just spins the hammer and then he hits him in the face and he cancels that, right? That was not an offset attack proper. Now they just legalized that as a thing that hammer can do normally. And that's not bad, but at the same time, it takes away the value of that thing because everybody can do it now. It sounds like I'm being an elitist here, but I'm really not. It's just one of those things where if everyone is capable of doing a thing, it's not impressive anymore. I see a lot of people posting these, oh, sick Monster Hunter Wilds offset compilation. Like, brother, we all did it. Come on, man. Get with the times. And I understand that there's always that argument of like, oh, you control the buttons you press. That is true, and I understand that, which is why I don't have footage of me using focus mode, because it's very rare for me to actually use it. I don't like it. But that doesn't change the fact that I actually think this is a mechanic that takes value from the game. Genuinely so. It just washes down the experience, and it makes it so that previous achievements have absolutely no value. Do I think the mechanic needs to be outright removed from Monster Hunter? No, I don't think so. It's really weird to think about a mechanic and just be like, I need it removed from my game. That just ruins the experience. It kind of, I wouldn't say it ruins the experience, it just washes it down. Like I said, if you don't want to use it, you don't use it. At least that's what I do. I'm not going to go into the whole, is it necessary, is it not necessary, because there are very, very tough fights at the end of this game, especially with the updates, that I just get myself using focus mode at times because there are moments where like I need to be optimal with my damage, and I don't like how this game does difficulty at times when it comes to these final fights because it really just feels like they make the enemies very spongy and with insane damage. But like, alas, that's just what it is. But yeah, I don't think the mechanic needs to be removed. I need the game, when the DLC drops, to punish me for using it non-stop. That's how I feel like we can deal with the focus mode. It's like Rise. Rise had a mechanic that was a bit controversial, which was the wire bug fall. Wire fall? I don't know how you call it. It's the funny thing where you do a little jump and you use the bug to recover from the jump so you don't go on the ground and you don't get punished. And there are monsters that actively punish you for using that because they have insane combos that just last forever. So if you use wire fall, you're gonna get murked out of the sky. And that is awesome. Like, you give me a strong option, that's cool, but make sure that the monsters have a way to react to that mechanic. Make monsters punish me for using stuff that I shouldn't use at any given time, because otherwise it just turns into a crutch. Like, I have a crutch that I do in Wilds a lot, where you do have the secret going about, and he just picks you up while you're down. It's like think of the wire bug fall, but instead of using the wire bug, you use the secret, and I do that all the time. It's just like, I don't want to stay down in the ground, so I need to zoop, come the secret, come pick me up, GG. Still on the secret though, since we're talking about that, I think the secret auto-pathing to the monster is horrible. I don't think the mount itself is a problem given how big the map is, and like I said, I didn't mind the mount in Rise, so I'm not gonna mind the mountain here. Fast traversal is a must. However, knowing where the monster is at all times and automatically making your way to it by simply pressing on the D-pad has to be one of the worst changes in the game. The monster running away is nothing but ceremonial. I don't have to know where he is going. I don't have to know a path to that location. I don't have to track the monster at all. That is probably the biggest change I want in this game. I don't much care for focus mode, even though I don't think it's great. But I hope that when the DLC drops, they allow me to at least have to find the monster first before I get to auto-track him. So that way we can actually force people to learn the lay of the land and interact with the world more than just autopiloting up into the monster. Just like, oh yeah, I fight the monster. Monster leaves. Just like, oh yeah, I fight the monster. Oh yeah, I fight the monster. You just keep on that repeating mindset. You don't even pay attention to what's happening. You don't even know where you go. And the wildest thing to me is that we do have pain pods in this game. They don't serve any purpose, I think. I never used it. I don't need it. Why would I use pain pods? I don't need to use the pain pods to know where the monster is. So, like, why would I use it to begin with, you know? And that, I think, encapsulates the feeling I have about this game's greatest sin. Is that you have so much that you can do in this game. There is so many tools. There are so many things to interact in the map. There is so much ecology, so much environmental storytelling. But there is no incentive to actually engage with it. Because the core gameplay that game presents to you is just fight the monster, carve the monster, back to base, back to monster, carve, back to base. It's just that very narrow circle that, in my opinion, is just 10% of the Monster Hunter experience. Like, the fighting is good, but if it's the single focus of the game, it is just a boss rush simulator. You're not a hunter. Like, one of the ways you could change this is by making the auto path related to the paint pods. If you do the paint pod on the monster, then the secret can auto track. Give me a reason to actually use the paint pods that you have in the game right now. How about that? Sorry, I understand that I may sound like I am holding this game in a very negative light, but I do love this game. I think this game is fantastic. And I wouldn't be going too hard on the gripes that I have about this game if I didn't like it as much as I do. It's because, like, we're so close for it to being like a perfect Monster Hunter experience, but it doesn't get quite there yet. And I really want it to be. You know? That makes any sense? I'm sorry. Like I said, this is probably one of the best entry points for Monster Hunter ever. This is the most accessible game in the franchise. If you want to get into Monster Hunter and you never played a video game, this is the best time to do it. And please do. Monster Hunter is a phenomenal series. I love every single thing about the series, and Monster Hunter Wilds is no different. I think this game has a lot of potential. He's not just quite there yet, but it's still a phenomenal gaming experience. If I had to rate this game as it is, right now, with the content that it has, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. The problem is that, in my concept, the other Monster Hunter games that are in a complete state are 10 out of 10s. So, you know, this game is not there yet. I know it's unfair to compare it with, like, Iceborne, because, you know, we already have the DLC, and the DLC generally changes the game so much, and it just turns into a way, way better experience. So, really, I am just speculating, and I am just talking about the game as it is. In the future, this video is probably going to be completely obsolete, and I sure hope it does. But like I said, please consider getting into Monster Hunter. This is a great game, and maybe wait for a sale, because Wilds is a very expensive endeavor. Yeah, I'm just a big Monster Hunter lover. Also, by the way, if you guys don't know me, I'm Gappy. No, it's a bit late for introductions, but I'm a bit of a Monster Hunter guy. Technically, I'm a variety streamer, but I do a lot of Monster Hunter videos, so please consider liking and subscribing if you guys like that kind of content, and really helps the channel a lot. Really does. I am currently doing a Monster Hunter World Revisit on Twitch with the main goal of soloing Fatalis for the first time. So if you guys want to follow that up, I got a Twitch account you should follow. It's probably down in the comments if I do my work right. And yeah, this is probably going to be it for this video. Do get into Monster Hunter. Buy Monster Hunter Wilds when you can. Wait for a sale, like I said. If this motivates any of you guys to get into a Monster Hunter game, then please do. This is a phenomenal game. And that's gonna be it for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Ciao.